All right. So on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, we're going to be doing the formal presentation with the class on the readings of the introduction, chapter 1 and chapter 2, which are associated with module 1 and SMT 110. But wanted to get this presentation up early and accessible for anyone who is interested. So why can't I push buttons? All right. So in the readings that are assigned, as well as what we're going to cover in this quick presentation, looking into the objectives, the goals, and really the basic philosophies of mental preparation in eSport. With the readings, or with, not the readings, with the assignments you have with the individual project, the mental side is going to be the common theme that we're going to grow on throughout the growth in the course. So as an intro, there are a few different levels of engagement in esports. You traditionally think it's, hey, I'm a great gamer. I'm going to have this this technical approach. I'm going to master my craft in this game. Once you join esport teams, how the team can work together and those dynamics. But as esports has grown and will continue to grow, there's a lot of other elements in play on the physical and mental preparation angles of this whole thing. So when thinking about that, provided some different examples and different perspectives on the slide, but how do you handle failure? How are you going to handle success when you're being defeated in a competition, or you just can't get past this certain hurdle? How are you going to overcome that? Is that something that you can adapt to in a single session, a single tournament, a week, a month? How are you going to handle those failures and develop beyond within the competitive world of esports? So going back to, like I said, you have this technical approach. Think about a traditional athlete. They tend to have a nice balance between the physical elements, the tactical approach to the game, the technical mastery of the craft, as well as the mindset. In esport, when you think about traditional gaming, it is tech and strategy heavy, but what we need to do as aspiring esport athletes is we need to get more of that athletic balance. We got to have a good physical approach, a good mental approach to the game, compared to just putting the focus on what is happening in your hands and within the machine. And by doing this all, to get to those levels, it all begins with effective goal setting. There are different types of goals. For specific goals, tangible, take shape over time. What I look for every time I am designing a class, when I'm creating goals for myself, I create what I call SMART goals. Those are specific, they are measurable, they're actionable, or they're not actionable, attainable, they are realistic, and they are time sensitive. That is a very well-defined way to look at things, saying I'm going to do this by doing this with these resources by this time. So very specific compared to general goals, saying, hey, I just want to do this. I want to be involved. Well, what does that even mean if you want to be involved in the esport environment? Do you want to be the captain of a team? Do you want to compete regionally? Do you want to go to national competitions? Do you want to attain sponsors through different broadcast sites? All that factors in. And with that, there are goals that are short-term as well as long-term. Probably heard about this in other classes or other schooling, but those have mixed definitions as well. So in the short term, you do have that timestamp. Maybe short term is by the end of the week. Maybe that short term is by the end of the semester. Maybe by the end of your schooling at JC. Long term could even be the end of your schooling at JC, depending on how you are putting those goals in play and working towards them and defining them over time. With the goals that you're going to set along the way too, make sure they are documented. Every single course, every single extracurricular activity you're in, you should have goals affiliated with it, so you know personally what you are working towards in that experience. In the text, you'll see an example of a fruit tree explain what goal realization is and how that occurs. So to be a little more straight to the point compared to illustrated with it, it begins with the identification. What do I want to accomplish? By doing that, in esports, rarely is it an individualized approach. It could be, so how do we do that individually? But what resources can we put around us, whether it's advocates, supporters, advisors, team members, to strengthen those roots in the system? You got to practice as an individual. You got to enhance the skill set that you have as a tactical gamer, as well as a team member. How are you going to work together and grow as a unit throughout the process? With that, through growth comes different challenges. You're not going to succeed at everything. If you do, you should be getting paid right now and being compensated for the level of expertise that you have. But there's going to be struggles. So how are you going to overcome those? How are you going to adjust and refine those different tactics through the perspectives that you're gaining, going against different competitors in different forums? Another thing with that too is when you succeed, I know for many individuals, you have a win and then, all right, what's next? That's great, but don't forget on why you got involved. Celebrate the small things. Celebrate, skill advancements. Celebrate the accomplishments of teammates. Celebrate yourself along the way, because even though there's a bigger long-term goal in play, you got to be appreciative of the little things that you're going to encounter. That's where the goal actualization will happen, then go on to the next stage. Through that as well comes open-mindedness. A lot of gamers can be very narrow, stick to the ego, be very straight to the point based on one's own skills, experiences, and background. Having an open mind will allow you to expand on the approaches that you're going to have within different environments, thinking outside the box, thinking more creatively. That will, present better outcomes as time comes along. Will and intention can be big drivers. Will can be a barrier at times in terms of if you're going through these different routes, if you're open-minded, you have the intention to succeed in different ways. The will can be a significant driver, but also a barrier at times based on how you're going about different situations. And then lofty goals, just to define that, those are more of the humanitarian perspectives on, I want to do this for a greater cause. I want to do this to contribute to, certain individuals or communities or beliefs that go beyond what you are thinking that you're trying to accomplish as an individual. And after you reach that, like I said, celebrate it, but then figure out what's next. Look at where you have been, grow on those learnings and experiences, and then identify new goals and find new resources to get your skills, enhance that team dynamic, enhance your personal approach to get to that next level of success and competition. For the mental side of preparing, we also need to be able to determine the difference between training and play. For me growing up, recreationally, I did it for fun. I played games, maybe a couple hours a day, didn't take it too seriously. While for competitive gaming, training becomes a regimen just as it would and if you're preparing to compete in a sport like soccer, gymnastics, or whatever. There needs to be a regimen. There has to be a process and reason for doing things compared to just getting on the system and just playing, for fun. So with this, you gotta expand through training, play, um, these different areas. You gotta expand your skill set. You gotta understand the game. By doing understanding the game, having more of a embedded integrated system with your mind and body, your reaction time is going to speed up. You're going to have more experience, which is going to lead to more confidence. And when it comes to these competitions, uh, like in sports or like in more traditional sports, there's always something in the back pocket. One team isn't going to go out, lay down their whole playbook right on the line in the first quarter, first half, first period of a game. So with that, when it shows your true potential, your true strategy, that should be rolled out over the series of gameplay in competition. Also, preparation is essential in terms of being an e-athlete, even a student for that matter. You have to study, you have to prepare. Repetition is key. So with that, master different worlds, master different simulations, master different um, opponents, just so you can get a whole appreciation, understanding of the field of play. With that too, just lost my thought. But yeah, the key thing is you can't just go at it a few times, go at it with a singular mindset or a singular approach because it's become easy. You got to challenge yourself. You got to fail before you go to these competitions so you understand how to adapt in the future and find those multiple paths and avenues to get to a new level of successes. Also in the book, it defined per day, per week, how much time goes into being an esport e-athlete. Pretty self-explanatory. I feel like these titles are kind of vague personally. A professional, anyone who gets compensated for something is a professional in their craft. So with that, that shows a level of contribution, but you still have to go beyond and do more. There's this whole other dynamic of creating personas, of engaging with fans, of having an audience online. If you're just doing stuff internally and competing against others, you ain't going to make money. So that's what we're going to talk about later in the course, about resources available in esports, but also in everyday life that you need to surround yourself with to deliver at the top level and to be compensated for the work that you are doing and the time that you're investing. Also, like I already said, you got to have a high quality and the right mindset when preparing and going in. Got to, persistence is a key driver to fully understand how the competitive format works, how your team dynamic is, how you're going to approach different situations. And with that, some of this development happens through leaps compared to more gradual success, as you may see in other forums. You could be stuck at this, you could have this dilemma. And once you figure out your way around it, that can apply to so many different situations that you're going to encounter throughout gameplay and competition. And right there, you're upping yourself a level in the competitive forum. In addition to, and this goes back to, I believe, the third slide about the balance between technical, tactical, mental, and physical, you gotta have a balance in life. You can't just game the whole time and just have that the sole avenue of development. You got to refresh your mind. You got to refresh your body, whether it's working out, whether it's taking a walk, doing some of the things that I listed on the slide. It's important to get mental breaks. But with that, through stressing, through the challenges that you're going to encounter, it will burn you out mentally, physically, emotionally. So that it is critical to make sure that there is some balance in there, just to take a breath, refresh the body, refresh the mind, to make sure you don't just burn yourself out too quick in competition, and growth. Last slide I have for Module 1 comes to different definitions of the levels of mastery. So when thinking about it, in basic skill development, you know what you have to do. You're playing a game, you're playing an RPG, a sport, whatever it is. And right when you get on, you're just trying to figure stuff out. Once you realize what you're doing, your mind's going to be more connected, more of that conscious dabble. You figured out what you have to do, but I know how to get there, but I need more time. As your skills develop, as you generate a routine, it's just you're in tune with it. You know what you have to do, you know how to get there, but the added level of focus comes in the world, or to the stage of unconscious expertise, where you're not even thinking about what you're doing. It's just happening. So for me, when I work out personally, I'm more of that conscious dabble level, because I know what I have to do to get my body and mind right, but I need a guide. I need help to get there. I need to watch videos. I need to use virtual training systems. While my wife, she's more of that expertise level. She knows what she has to do. She has a routine. She has a process. She has a dietary guide beyond that. I like my cheeseburgers, so that's always going to be a barrier for me. But for her, she is totally encapsulated and does things because she knows what she has to do to get to that level of expertise. Also, when you think about that goes like with instinct and muscle memory. Just over time, you're going to figure out what you need to do. One of the other big things on the mental side comes positive reinforcement and building that, or enhancing that mental well-being. After competitions, don't right off the bat go and say, what could I have done better? Don't never criticize teammates. You don't want to just destroy their morale mid-competition or even afterwards. You got to celebrate the successes. You got to say, hey, that was awesome. We all did good doing this, that, whatever it was, and celebrate the moment. Then, hey, tomorrow, let's chat, see what we need to do to improve moving forward. Talk about the negatives and the challenges, but don't let those consume you. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to utilize the chat on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. within the Moodle main platform of SMT 110. Email me questions that you have, and just looking forward to chatting and seeing what you're thinking with the course. But that's all I have for Module 1. Thank you.